So Judas betrays Jesus here at the Garden of Gethsemane. Then Jesus is arrested and is taken before the Sanhedrin on Mount Zion, Mount Zion. Then from the Sanhedrin, he's handed over to Pilate. Then there, Jesus was condemned to death. Remember, Judas has already been paid the 30 silvers. And when he saw that Jesus has been condemned, I'll take you there to see the place. Entering the first station of the Way of the Cross. Here, this is the place that Pilate asked the people whom they want that he release. And he shouted, Jesus Barabbas. So now it's a school of the Muslim school, but this was the outside the court of Pilate, who was the governor at that time. And from there, we can be able to see the dome of the rock, where where the temple was. Now there is a mosque, but from the window we can be able to see the Temple Mount. Yes, we are inside the compound of Pilate, the governor, where his palace was. And this is where the Way of the Cross starts. Yes. So from here we can be able to see
First station. Here, Jesus is condemned to death. Then Pilate released Barabbas to them, but he had Jesus flogged and handed him over to be crucified.
Pater noster, qui es in celis, sanctificetur nomen tuum, adveniat regnum tuum, fiat voluntas tua.
Then he entered the temple. Remember where there is the mosque now, there was a temple. He went into the temple, found the elders and the Pharisees and he threw on the floor the 30 silvers that he had been paid to betray Jesus. Then what happened to Judas later? Judas later went to the Valley of Hinnom. The Valley of Hinnom is beyond the Kidron Valley. That is where we are going. And he hanged himself. Then what happened with the 30 silver that Judas threw on the floor? The elders, the Pharisees, say that this is blood money. We cannot put in the offering box. So they took the money, bought a field at the Valley of Ben Hinnom, where the foreigners who traveled to Jerusalem and they died in Jerusalem were buried. As Jesus speaks about the Valley of Ben Hinnom, he gave an example of hell, Gehenna, or Gehenna, because that valley, it was used as a debris, as a place to throw away debris. And during Jeremiah's time, I did a video about this. It was used by King Ahaz and the Israelites when they started worshiping the Canaanites gods. They used to sacrifice their firstborn children, sons, there at the Valley of Ben Hinnom. I will link a video of the time when Jeremiah the prophet was told by God to go and break a pot there, because God was not happy about the Israelites during the Bible times when they started following the Canaanites' God's way of worship. Now we are heading to the Valley of Ben Hinnom from Kidron Valley at Gethsemane. visiting hours. Gethsemane. Gethsemane, the church of all nations. So now we are heading to, we are walking through Kidron Valley. By now, you know what's about the Kidron Valley in the Bible. I've done a lot of videos about the Kidron Valley, and I will link them for you at the end of this video. And we are heading to where Judas hanged himself, at the valley of Ben Hinnom. Kidron Valley, or Valley of Jehoshaphat. In the end times, I will gather all nations and will bring them down into the Valley of Jehoshaphat, and I will enter into judgment with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and divided my land. Joel chapter 4 verse 2. The Kidron Valley, Mount of Olives, Jewish cemetery. Now we are going to walk through the Kidron Valley into Valley of Ben Hinnom, at the Potter's Fields. Potter's Fields. What is this about the Potter's Fields? Potter's Fields. It is a field that was bought with a 30 silver that Judas was paid after he betrayed Jesus. And after Jesus was condemned to death, Judas was remorseful, and he went inside the temple, threw the money on the floor. The money could not be kept inside the offering bag, so they bought the Potter's Field, where the foreigners that traveled into Jerusalem and died in Jerusalem were buried. Now we are walking, we are heading to the King's Valley. King's Valley, Kidron Valley. It's named after King David. When you walk through the Kidron Valley, I remember the Psalms of King David as he spoke about going to the Mount of the Lord, Temple Mount. He asked, who can climb or who can ascend into the Holy Mount, the Temple Mount? Is he who has clean hands and a clean heart. That is the tomb of Absalom, the son of King David. Remember this son, Absalom, he was pursuing his father. And as the king passed over the Kidron Valley, all the people passed over toward the path to the wilderness. 2 Samuel chapter 15 verse 23. We're talking about, we need to read about it. It was about King David, Absalom. And behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring back the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and I will enter into judgments with them there. Joel chapter 4 verse 1 and 2. At this valley, the Kidron Valley, the valley of Jehoshaphat. Absalom's tomb. Pharaoh's daughter. Oh, wow. Okay. Let's go. Arab neighborhood. Tomb of the sons of Haziel. We are heading to the valley of Ben Hinnom. At the Potter's Field. There is a bridge there, a suspension bridge, the longest suspension bridge in Israel. Wow, look at the flowers, oh my goodness. It's beautiful. Windy. Here we got the tomb of Pharaoh's daughter. On the side of the facing mountain, a square building can be seen that is entirely quarried out of rock with a narrow opening on its face. You see there. The building, commonly referred to as the grave of Pharaoh's daughter, served as a burial place and is dated to the end of the First Temple period. A carved out pyramid once stood on the roof of the building but was destroyed over the years. Ancient Hebrew, wow. this side is Mount Zion. And on that side is Mount of Olives. During those times, the Bible time, during the time of King Ahaz of Judah and Prophet Jeremiah, it was a detestable place. A place where even they used to burn debris. Kidron Valley.
Matthew chapter 27. Judas hangs himself. Early in the morning, all the chief priests and the elders of the people made their plans how to have Jesus executed. So they bound him, led him away, and handed him over to Pilate the governor. Remember, we were there on Temple Mount, at the Temple Mount compound. When Judas, who had betrayed Jesus, saw that Jesus was condemned, he was seized with remorse and returned the 30 pieces of silver to the chief priests and the elders. I have sinned, he said, for I have betrayed innocent blood. What is that to us? They replied. That's your responsibility. So Judas threw the money into the temple and left. Then he went away here and hanged himself. The chief priest picked up the coins and said, "It is against the law to put this into the treasury, since it is blood money." So they decided to use the money to buy the potter's fields as a burial place for foreigners. This was the place, the potter's field. This is why it has been called the field of blood to this day. And remember, during Jeremiah's time, King Ahaz's time, or King Ahaz's time, during the Bible times, when the Israelites forsook the way of God and started following the Canaanite gods, this place they used it to sacrifice their firstborn sons, the way the Canaanites used to. So the field of blood. Then what was spoken by Jeremiah the prophet was fulfilled. They took the 30 pieces of silver, the price set on him by the people of Israel, and they used them to buy the potter's field as the Lord commanded me. Remember the words of Jeremiah. I'll link the video about Jeremiah coming to the potter's fields and breaking a pot here. So this is the place where Judas hanged himself, and the money, or the 30 silver that he had been paid, it was used to buy these fields. And Jesus, speaking in Matthew about hell or Gehenna, he was referring to this place, the field of blood. The book of Acts chapter 1, verse 18 and 19 says something different. Let's read. With the payment he received for his wickedness, Judas bought a field there. He fell headlong. His body burst open and all his intestines spilled out. Everyone in Jerusalem heard about this, so they called the field in their language Akeldama, that is, field of blood. What a controversy. Here it says Judas bought the field, but in the book of Matthew it says the elders bought the field. So which is which? Anyway, for both texts it says the field was called the field of blood, Akeldama, and that is where Judas burst open and all his intestines spilled out. Thank you so much, good people. God bless you. I'll see you again in a few days' time. It's Veronica. God bless you. Walking through the Bible. Judas was important. Yes, for us to become Christians, Judas was important. God bless you.